Hello and very warm welcome to this special podcast series called Digital Mandate, presented by B2B, the Founder Media, publisher of The Banker, The Educator, and the Founder magazines, and the tech community platform called Tech Disruptor Media. This is a special program wherein we invite technology leaders from across industry to understand as to what they are doing and how technology is helping them. Today, I'm very happy to be joined by Mr. Dominic Vijay Kumar. Mr. Kumar is a seasoned industry leader with huge experience in technology. Currently, he is serving as the President IT for Namdev Finvest. Mr. Kumar, thank you so much for taking our time for this podcast series.
It's my pleasure, and thank you once again for inviting me for this wonderful event. And it's something which is where every technology head tries to express his what do you call that experience is being done and his achievements and what he can do for the industry.
Right.
And really, thank you so much for everyone, Ashish, Anupam, and Mohammed yourself. Okay.
Right.
So just to give a small brief about myself, I mean, I would like giving a small brief about myself, and then we start off with it.
Absolutely.
I come with almost 25 years of technology experience, pure hardcore IT. Okay, so and I come with multiple domain experience. Started my career with an hospitality industry, then moved to an aviation industry, then worked for a short period of insurance, then got into an NBFC slash BFSI, you can say. So this journey, right from the career starting till date, I mean, it is actually the IT revolution when we all started our career. Okay, and it's actually given us a lot of hands-on experience, ground level experience, and tech is going to be the game changer for any organization, irrespective of the industry it is, whether it is manufacturing, automobile, or financial. But today, technology is more used in the financial industry because that is the economy. If the financial industry is strong, Indian economy stands strong, and especially in MSME, which is a backbone of the Indian economy, where tech is going to play a role, and tech will also play a very important role for the customers where who are not being served, underserved kind of customers who don't have an capability to go for a loan, where tech will help them in borrowing, building a better life for them. So in that way, as a technology head, I come with this kind of experience, and what best I could contribute to the industry, I try my best. That's how.
No, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, you are somebody who has spent a lot of time in technology space, especially in the BFSI. And
Mm.
that brings me to my first question. As the president and the head of technology at Namdev Invest, if I have to ask you, what are your primary objective for, let's say, advancing the company's digital transformation to better some of your, your customers, especially the MSME, and promote financial inclusion?
Mm. So basically, Namdev Finvest is an NBFC. I mean, it's been more than a decade. It's in the financial industry, and they operate from Jaipur. The head office is in Jaipur. They have multiple businesses. Like MSME is one of the business where, and two wheeler you have solar. We have then EV we do, and MSME is something which we focus more on because that is the place we where the MSME customers are not being explored. They don't have a credit facility.
Mm.
That's where I was brought in. It's been quite some months that I'm with this organization. My main focus area will be to work on the digital transformation,
Right.
how to build technology in line with the business. It is not that you build a technology without knowing what is business. So your technology and business should be aligned. And the one is the your back office operation. Second thing is the business needs, and the third thing is the customer experience. How are you going to bring the customer, a customer who doesn't know much of technology? How are you going to make him tech savvy, or how is he going to approach me for a loan? So that kind of digital transformation we are looking at. It is more of an underserved customers where they don't have the financials, they don't have proper. You can sort of go to a level of KYC also they don't have. So how are you going to give them a loan? How are you going to serve them and make their life better? Okay, that's how we are thinking. And in the digital transformation mode, we look at more of tech driven approach when it comes to decision making, credit underwritings, sourcing of the customers, and post disbursement, the life cycle of the customers, how we're going to. So this all most of the thing will be driven through technology. That's why I've been placed, and we'll focus more on the cyber security also, because when you build technology, cyber security plays a very important role. It is not like before. It's an equally, and we need to give importance. Then we'll have a lot of trainings happening, awareness trainings and all that. So digital transformation, cyber security is the one what we will. I mean, we look at Namdev's journey.
Mhm.
in the MSME segment to be more 80 to 70 to 80% digitally driven. Because
Right.
another 20% should always be on the hybrid mode because it all depends on the compliance, regulatory requirements, and all that. Everything cannot be digitized. So we are looking at around 70 to 80% of digitization to happen in
Right.
next coming some time.
No, absolutely. I think you rightly touched upon some of the very important and integral part of digital transformation journey for any organization, which is having the technology stack in place. Then you need to be very sure about the cybersecurity part it, and also since most of the BFSI organization are highly regulated, so you need to prioritize the regulation as well. But if I have to ask you something as a technologist, especially from enhancing the operational efficiency and customer satisfaction, these are two important things. So operational efficiency is basically your as to how you're handling your internal employee, how the kind of solution you are providing to your own executive in terms of getting the information. And the customer satisfaction is more about the customer orientation. When they are actually connecting you, how do you actually help them, how do you resolve their query, and those things. So what are some of the new innovation at Namdev that you are doing in relation to these? If you could touch upon maybe a couple of programs that you are running in.
So, at Namde, we have drawn a very clear digital roadmap. Okay,
Mhm.
where basically the pain areas we identify some of the pain areas where we need technology to be driven. Okay, and it's tech when you say technology to be driven, the existing business will be given and enabled with the additional tools to drive the business in a better way. Okay, more of API stack everywhere.
Mhm.
Okay, and reducing of fraud management, increasing the efficiency, and try reducing the attack. For example, if you're taking 2 hours for onboarding a customer, how
Mhm.
can I use a technology to reduce down to 30 minutes time or 20 minutes time,
Right.
depending on the competitor? Because today, you know what happens in our nature of business, it was not like before. We
Mhm.
had limited NBF. Today, you have NBFCs, everyone and anyone starting for it. So you
Right.
should be in the competitive edge in such a way that you should be one step ahead of your competitor. If
Right.
somebody is doing a TAT of 20 minutes, can I bring it down to 15 minutes without compromising on the regulatory requirement, without compromising on my credit policy, without compromising on the company policy? Yes, you can do it by using a lot of technology. And second, whenever you implement technology, you to see that it is being adopted by the ground level team. The
Right.
ground level team or the end of they are the people who are going to use it, not me, the people who are sitting at the corporate office. It is the ground level team who's on the ground, the foot soldiers we call them, because they generate revenue for us. If they are comfortable, give them that. Give a technology in such a way that their life is not miserable, rather their life is made easier.
Right.
Okay. For example, today you find a lot of API stacks, and today even account aggregator is one of the major game changer in the financial industry you talk about. Rather than taking the financial statements physically, you use an API stack to pull out your statement, and that is more secured. So one
Right.
is you're reducing the fraud. Second thing, the TAT has been reduced, and
Mhm.
third thing, the credit manager takes rather than taking a huge time for analyzing a particular bank statement, that's been reduced to a few minutes. So
Right.
this is how your game changes. Your KYC, you don't have to do one KYC part. You have
Mhm.
CKYC, which is coming into picture. You have BRE engines, business rule engines, where you can auto decisions can be taken. Yes, you cannot have 100% decision making.
Precisely. Right.
Precisely, you can take a decision, which will be an enabler for it. And with AI come artificial intelligence playing a very important role, especially in the financial sector, and the
Mhm.
kind of data we have, using those AI tools, building a very good algorithms, building a proactive approach towards your customers. Okay, how you're going to serve your customers. So that's how we are looking at it. And these things are part of the business which goes, but
Right.
post disbursement, the customer life cycle when we do, how are you going to make your customer feel the personal touch kind of? Because see, when the MSME customers are the customers who prefer to be have personal touch.
Right.
One of the example is you support a customer, your customer service should be such a way that it should be in the vernacular language. If
Mhm.
somebody is talking to you from Gujarat, somebody is asking for a loan, or if he's having an issue with his process, like his RPS or his temper top, anything for that matter, you should address him in his own language. So he means more comfortable, that homely
Right.
kind of feeling. So this gives a kind of this one. And accessibility of his data should be at his fingertips. So this builds a confidence in him. So that means at any point of time when he approaches Namdev for any kind of loan, he's
Mhm.
confident that yeah, whenever I'm approaching, I get the best rate of interest. My customer service is very good. Second thing, whatever documents I submit to them is well secured.
Right.
That is very important, which this confidence has to be built in the customers to do it. So that's why we are building, and this is more than a manual intervention. We are trying building bots. Okay, that's part of the digital roadmap where the virtual bots, WhatsApp bot will help the customer to be basically to support a customer on the move.
Right.
Today, because when you look at the usage of technology in the rural areas, they use the maximum. When I was reading one of the survey by this ISPs given to us, the maximum usage of data is from the rural customers.
Precisely. Right.
Okay, so that means they're adopting technology. We just make them feel that you should build something in such a way that again, my foot soldiers and my customer, their life should be very very easy. Click of a button, they should be able to get the data. Click of the button, they should be approachable to us. They
Right.
should approach us. So these are something which you're building using technology, and it's all part of the roadmaps what we have done. And gradually we start rolling out the one by one.
Absolutely. You rightly mentioned the fact that the expectation of a customer, especially the NBFC customer, is slightly different because they want a kind of handholding at a different kind of attachment,
Yes.
different touch points. So, if I have to ask you something from a NBFC as well as from a traditional bank perspective, what are the diverse customer need you look, and do you see any diversity of technology usage as well because of the expectation of the customer?
Yes, I can give you one of the examples. When you are dispersing the loan, you sign a loan agreement.
Mhm.
Now, there are chances like, when you look at the traditional legacy part, you call the customer to the branch, he comes down, then the applicant, co-applicant, the guarantor, everyone has to be there. In case any one of the person is not available, you
Mhm.
can't sign the loan agreement. As obviously, when loan agreement is not signed, the disbursement doesn't happen. So this
Right,
is one of the pain areas which we took, and it's overall we have taken it, and we are trying building an digital, digitizing the complete loan documents and getting it signed through the Aadhaar based e-sign. So
right,
what happens? One, simultaneously you are in touch with all the customers, irrespective of the location, irrespective of the place you are. You don't have to be physically present. Virtually, you are available. There's a
right,
proper authenticated data goes, and you can sign the document through virtually. And every document which is signed, a copy is gone to the customer. So what happens? The customer's life is made a little bit easy. Okay, rather than taking 3 4 days for signing just a loan document. That's one of the example I'm telling you. So this makes customer more, what do you call that? He's more comfortable here.
yeah,
And these are genuine authenticated data. There is no forgery happening. There is no fake signatures happening, and these are authenticated, and locks are being created. Second
right,
thing is, we have seen sometimes the customers eKYC don't work. Like, that's one of the very 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 living examples, where mobile number is not mapped to your Aadhaar card, or it's not mapped. Some people the address is not there. So there, what happens? We try bringing in the biometric devices where instead of, if the mobile number is not linked to his Aadhaar card,
right,
Aadhaar number, then use a biometric and capture the data. One is I don't lose my customer. Second thing, I make the customer feel that, if one fails, another solution is already available with us too, so that the customer's confidence is built. The confidence in Namdev for a
right.
customer is so high that, he says, if anything and every problem, I have a solution from them, whether it is digitization or through the manpower. These are few examples what we have planning to. I mean, we are almost in the rollout stage, and we
Right,
are doing that.
right.
And this will bring a better clarity. And this is one of these are few game changers in the NBFC, especially for the customers who are in the tier 3 and tier 4 cities, because
Absolutely.
where the bigger banks don't go and approach them.
Right, right.
So this is how we have diversified our technology at
Yes.
multiple places.
Earlier, you mentioned very important thing which is really emerging very fast is bot, and what we are also observing that there is a lot of utilization of conversational AI. So
Yes.
even the contact center management or reaching out to customer, whether inbound or outbound, a lot of deployment or experiment has started happening. So if I have to ask you, but even today, despite all of these, most of the IVR are not very smart. They are actually giving you those mundane information. Those could be because of the guidelines and all as to how much data you can basically provide to those systems. But if I have to ask you something, being a technologist, what is your assessment of basically the BFSI or NBFC organization contact center management down the line in couple of years? Do you see the conversational AI, the smart bots are going to completely overall as to how we are managing customer engagement?
Very frankly speaking, I think it's already this transition is already started.
Right,
Today, rather than more of SMS, WhatsApp is becoming a very digital communication for whether it is a customer, for anything for that matter. Whether you
right.
talk to today, you talk to the bank, you
Mhm.
don't have to call up the customer care and talk to them through WhatsApp. You get everything. I mean, I'll give you an example. Yesterday, there was some credit limit issue on my credit card.
Right,
Okay, then it just took 30 seconds for me to increase my credit limit through WhatsApp. Just
Right.
say yes, press 1, 2, 3. So this is how the technology is built. And second thing is going forward, this is going to be a game changer for anything, because one is you reduce your what do you call that? Manpower.
Man.
You don't say manpower, we are going to try to take the first level of support rather than going to an agent.
Right.
If the bots take over and serves the customer, because customer, the first, whenever he calls me up, the first customer question is going to ask me, if I'm able to answer that particular question and give him a resolution, no, then after that he has nothing to say.
Right. Right.
Okay,
Absolutely.
that is where the more than a physical agent, the bot, because bot is something which is integrated with your core system, integrated with your multiple things. And
Right.
even today, your contact center is a single package. It is no more a call center. You will have multiple things. Today, you go for a cloud-based contact center. It
Mm.
comes with multiple things, whether it is a digital communication, whether it is your integration with your multiple systems. So, very technically speaking, customers, if you have to serve the customers through the bot, and second thing, using bot, you can understand, you can do a lot of analytics, the way, the behavioral pattern of the customer, the mood of the customers, his approach towards the customer. These
Right.
kind of data capturing will not only help me out in what do you call that, building my business. I can build multiple products for the customer. I can understand the customer, what does he need.
Right.
Before, when he says hi, I should be in a position of telling, yes, good morning, Mr. Mohammed, how are you? Welcome to Namdev or whatever. So this is how something, and setting up a bot in a vernacular language
Mm.
will give the homely kind of setup. Like typically, it's like you and me talking like that.
Right.
Today,
Right.
your technology is built in such a way. You get a call on your phone. It's
Mm.
like you and me talking. You just have to say yes, no, and confirm back. The data gets recorded. On that basis, your system is updated.
Yes. Yes.
The
Absolutely.
chatbot, to be very frank, it is more of a virtual assistant which is going to help you. The virtual agents, it
Right.
typically like your co-pilot what Microsoft is launched. You
Yes.
don't
Yes.
have an executive assistant anymore. You just say that what I want, he'll
Right.
type it for you. The similar way we have, I mean, that's why the next two, not next 2 years, you'll find the next 3 4 months, you'll find things rolling out in a better way. Already, the bigger players have already rolled out the technology in such a way that customer service is giving an enhancement, and
Right.
obviously we are following the same
Right.
footsteps.
That brings to a very important thing which you earlier mentioned is security. Because what really happened among all these, you have access to a lot of data points and you are also providing access to your core system. Uh, and what we see that both there has to be some level of balance between security and the customer experience. And the challenges for NBFC will be slightly different. It's most of the NBFCs will be cloud native, highly scalable, agile. But large banks and traditional banks would have challenge of legacy IT infrastructure. They might not be able to learn like Kubernetes or microservices and all. So, as a technologist, how do you look at this? How do we balance and take a very balanced approach to the security, where we provide the enterprise grade rugged security, but ensuring that the customer is delightful?
Okay, coming to this, see, there is no compromise on this security. Today, cyber security is a major threat.
Mhm.
If I build a solution, immediately I find an hacker building an alternate solution to hack my systems. So
Right.
there is no compromise on that. There is no second thought about it. But yes, you should be in a position of choosing the right product.
Mm.
First of all, you should understand what is the business, with whom are you going to, whether it is your outsource your customers. Second thing is your vendors whom you work with, then your internal customers. Today, when you look at the kind of data theft or a cyber threat happens, maximum happens within your organization. It can
Absolutely.
be intentionally, unintentionally also. We are not trying to question the integrity of anybody, but it happens like that because people get lured by multiple things. People who are agitated with the organization, people who are on the notice period, and people who have a different kind of thought. Everyone comes with 80% of your threat happens within your organization. Another 20% is from external. But to cater this, first what we look at is always choose the right product. When you look at the legacy NBFCs or legacy banks,
Mm.
everyone are getting cultivated to a new thing. And today, government of India is so very strict that on the cyber security, especially the certain, is
Right.
like if any kind of attack within 6 hours, you're supposed to inform them, and the investigation supposed to start. You need to do a forensic audit. There are multiple things which are going to come in,
Right.
and you'll be a huge fine with DPDP coming into picture. So
Mm.
first thing you have to see what kind of tools you're going to use, and you have to assess your present infrastructure, what you want. You just can't buy everything and put it across,
Right.
because everything needs, there's a capex which comes into picture. What is your requirement? What kind of customers you're working? What kind of data you're storing? Classification of data is important. Storage of data in motion and in rust is important. What you're going to store, where you're going to store, how you're going to store. All this has to be properly studied, understood, and a team to be built in such a way that and you need to have skilled manpower to handle these kind of situations.
Right.
Anyone and everyone cannot handle these kind of things. So you got to be very precise. And today you find 101 tools, but what kind of tool do you need?
Right.
You really need all the tools at a time to safeguard your system? No, you don't require it. You should be in a position of understanding what you need, then implement the tool and allow the tool to mature for a period of time. Because
Right.
today you implement it, tomorrow if you want to get the result, that's technically not viable. Because cyber threat is something which is a human behavior pattern. You
Right.
have a malware or a ransomware implemented in your system, and you will not even come to know when that's going to execute. Proactively, you can only scan it and see, but
Right.
you cannot stop it. You can do a damage control, you can be proactive, and you can try preventing to an extent. So you got to keep one thing, and training is very important. Training is training, awareness, and adoption.
Right.
Sometimes you have to be so, I mean, sometimes people are not that comfortable when you put a lot of cybersecurity measures, but end of the day, it is the customer data, it is the company's. See, whenever there's an attack, your reputation, financial, and the customer satisfaction fail. Because if I lose my customer confidence,
Right.
take my words, no organization is to grow. So you
Absolutely.
have to be very, very precise. So you got to focus more on training,
Mhm.
focus more on ownership, and security is not only IT department or a CISO's job. It is everyone's job. When Dominic sees something which is not to be printed, he shouldn't print it. When somebody sees something, then you got to see that. So
Right.
everyone's together, we build a strong security team. Choose a right tool for yourself and try upgrading your systems to a like thing. Doesn't mean that if you're a 10-year-old system,
Mhm.
you got to upgrade yourself. You got to build the technology, and you have to be in line with the technology. So
Right.
in that way, you need to balance everything together.
Yes.
And technically speaking, there is no compromise on cybersecurity, because that is the one that can take a company to a level and
Mhm.
can bring a company down. So you got to be very precise in these things.
Right.
I think many of the big companies which were hit. I want to name
Right.
down.
Absolutely.
Still,
Absolutely.
your Gmail password was not changed. There was a cyber attack. So
Right.
some companies can take the hit, but not everyone.
Yes, yes. I think you are absolutely right that there is no silver bullet for cybersecurity, and security cannot be an afterthought. And there
Yes,
has to be participation from CISOs, CIOs, every employee actually in the organization
correct.
follows or do's and don't. And
Mm.
I mean, the cyber hygiene that most of the CISO would suggest to the entire organization. Now,
Mm.
that brings me to another question, which is more tilted toward regulation, because the compliance is also very important. I mean, is highly important for most of the BFSI organization. At times, it is a burden as well, but you have to meet it because most of these things are RBI mandated. So, as a technologist, many a times a CISO or a CIO would like to experiment with some of the fascinating technology, but they have to at times balance because of compliance and regulation. So, how do you balance that approach when you are building an application or maybe a something, but you have to also ensure that you are meeting the guideline in place, and because of that there could be some delay in terms of your innovation and your exuberance in relation to the technology.
See, in this way, there is no second thought, as I said, for cybersecurity. For regulatory requirement, there is no second thought. He is a godfather. There is a Bible which is written and given to me, and
Right.
we are supposed to follow that. Yes, to some level, from the business point of view, we may take little bit of deviation, subjected to on a proper approval from the concerned authorities, whether it is the board or at the senior most level, we take that. But 90% we follow the 100 regulatory compliance, which is, if you see, when they implement a complaint, they're not trying to put in some, they're not going to do a policing job. They're trying to strengthen your process. They're trying to tell you that if you put these things, your systems are in a better place. So
Right.
we normally, what we do these days, we see that the systems is built by security.
Right.
Okay, so design, and we see that the any project, any application which goes live, pre, on, post, it has to be properly audited by my internal audit team. We
Right.
do a proper compliance audit is being done on that, so that we are in line with the requirement. And second thing is, we have a process where we do a VAPT assessments.
Right.
So VAPT assessments will give you an vulnerability assessment and the penetration testing, which tells you how secure is the application. So this
Yes.
is about we don't compromise on these certain things, but we see that we at the same time we don't impact the business, because too much of stringy activity will impact the numbers and the business, which is not a good sign to the thing. And without compromising on the compliance and the audit requirements and the security of the organization, we see that we balance it in such a way that nobody gets affected. We are
Right.
in good boots. See, because end of the day, what happens? The regulator, when he walks in for an audit, He's
Right.
got a set of questions, and are you in line with the questions? Yes. When you write something, when you say, I've written, my name is Dominic Vijay, I should also say the same thing should be available in the system. My name is Dominic Vijay. I can't say that, something else. So we
Yeah.
got to be, we are a little bit, we are very, very conscious in that. And we see that we train our team also, compliance team. We train our end users so that, we don't compromise on the compliance. And we do a lot of awareness training also in this. And there is no second thought, as I said,
Right. Absolutely.
everything has to be balanced.
Yes, sir. These are also a moment of emerging technologies, especially artificial intelligence, machine learning, blockchain,
Mm.
IoT, and all. And we see some of the use cases emerging in a very strong way across different sectors, not only BFSI, but across different sector. And I'm asking you this question purely as a technologist. What is your assessment of, let's say, AI and machine learning tools as to how down the line do you see that it is going to change some of the fundamental things that we are doing today, and maybe we'll be doing in slightly different way?
The AI and ML is not going to change some of the fundamentals, it's going to change the whole look and feel of an organization.
Right.
Today, if you are doing an activity which is taking 30 minutes time for you, if
Mhm.
I use an AI tool there, should take 5 minutes time for me. So my TAT is increased, the data accuracy comes into picture. Because in our essay, I'll give you a rough example of our business only. We have a lot of data with us. Data points are there. When you
Mhm.
classify this data and start running an AI tool on this and run an ML, you build a beautiful data science model can be built, which can help me out in geographical expansion, which can help me out in designing a product, which can help me out in creating early warning signals when it comes to the collection point of view. Because
Right.
today, if you want to see a customer's behavior in next 6 months or a year's time,
Mhm.
whether it's going to be an NPA customer or a delinquent customer, you should be in a position of having the amount of data and understanding his pattern.
Right.
How we are going to do? You can't do it manually. You have to have an AI built tool. These tools have been designed in such a way that it automatically tells you, Dominic, next 6 months, these are the set of customers which are going to tend to become a delinquent customer, tend to be an NPA customer. This is
Right.
how it has to be there. And this will help me not only in doing this activity, it will also help me out controlling my risk factor.
Right.
Today, what does the regulator see? The more of NPS, your systems, your organization is questioned. To cut this down, you need to have a better and AI, take my words, the AI next 2 years time, not even 2 years, next 12 to 18 months time, you'll find AI making a major role,
Mhm.
especially when it comes to building EWS, because RBI itself is told that you need to have a proper EWS platform. When you say EWS platform, it's more of an early warning signal that it can be from the business perspective, collection, any kind of thing, so that you have a data with you and you
Okay.
understand. And blockchain is too early for us to understand because it's more of a distributed ledger what we're going to work on. Yes, we work with some of the tech partners who have on a blockchain, for example, fraud management and all that. They are on a blockchain where we work on it.
Right.
Yes, for NBFC, blockchain is going to be a new sector, and IoT is not playing that important role. But if you are funding the solar equipments and all that, their IoT plays a role, because when you fund a customer, the performance of the device is monitored through IoT rather than you physically doing it. That is one which is picking up these days. NBFCs are focusing, especially people who are in the solar business. It's picking up, and it gradually gets into a multiple things. So because manufacturing unit it is used, but find a kind of customers entity we use, we can't have an IoT, which is an expensive cost for us. Yes, IoT will play a very important role. AI is first. AI and ML is one.
Right.
Then IoT will play a very important role for us when it comes to the performance monitoring and all that. And parallelly, blockchain is building up.
Right.
And I think we should be able to catch up with the blockchain, especially from the customer perspective. We
Right.
should build up.
Absolutely. Mr. Dominic Vijay Kumar, thank you so much for taking your time. I think you spoke quite well on host of issues, from as to how you are doing the digital transformation deployment, some of technology things that you are working and especially doing at Namdev Invest, and also your overall experience of more than 2 decades, almost around 25 years as a technologist, and some of the new thing that you have been able to do. And also we spoke about the data analytics, how AI is going to play a very important role, and as to why the cyber security is really, really important, and how and why the compliance has become really, really important, and why most of the organization will do no compromise on cyber security and compliance, but at the same time, most of them would try to have a delightful customer experience. So once again, thank you so much for taking our time. Thank you.
It's my pleasure, man. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.